Hey everybody, welcome to the Dano channel. I am Dano, and I was not planning on doing a review on the Mandalorian version of Monopoly, but I opened it up today, and I was like looking through the rules and looking at what was different, and I was like, I have to do a video on this. I didn't want to do a video initially, because I was like, how do I do a video on a board game? I film here in the office for the most part, and like, I'm not going to film me and the family playing. I don't know. It just seemed like a weird task for me to film a video on Monopoly when we all know what Monopoly is. But again, I read it. I looked at the back of the box. I was like, cool. I wanted this anyways, just because I like themed Monopolies. We have Star Wars Monopoly, and it's got some different functions like the red and blue dice and little force. Like, it's an older, like 2003 Star Wars Monopoly or 2005 Star Wars Monopoly. This one is so different of a Monopoly in the way they integrated the Mandalorian into the style of play is so cool. And I just, So it's not going to be your typical unboxing, just kind of show you the back of the box there. I want you guys to see how cool the whole package from the start. When I opened it this morning, I was like, oh, I'm just going to put pictures on Instagram. Nope, not enough. Just take a look at this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's just frozen in carbonite. What a cool box. In the sides, oh yeah, the sides have it looks like a whole carbonite thing. So the game board looks like your typical Monopoly game board, right? You open it up, you got your game board, you got Park Place, Pass Go, etc. One of the first things I noticed was the property values aren't... They're not very much. Like, normally, if you start off at, like, Baltic the Purple properties, they're not worth a whole lot in your rent. When you play Monopoly, somebody lands on it, you don't make a lot of money. And then on the opposite side of the board, you've got Park Place and Boardwalk. And generally, those are a lot more, like, we're talking, like, I don't know, a ton more. In this case, it's only a difference of 10 credits or 50 credits. I'm like, really? Just 5 times? Like, that's it? And another thing I noticed is in this set, you only get 2 kinds of credits, 2 denominations of money, 10 and 50, and that's it. So this Monopoly is different in that the focus on properties and building your wealth, it's still there like Monopoly, but it's not as big of a focus, like making rent and all that stuff. Instead, what they've got is a token for the child. And so basically, as you're playing the game and you're moving around the board, right off the bat, there's the child in the just visiting jail cell, and if you land or pass the child, you pick up the child. And as long as you are holding the child, you have to roll a green die. Now, that green die isn't a normal die that goes up to 6. In fact, it only goes up to 3. So you're moving slower. So you're like burdened by carrying the child. But one of the cool parts about this is there are 4 characters you can pick. You can be Mando, Cara Dune, Queel, and IG-11. Now that's, like, it's cool you could be them, but they all have special abilities. And certain abilities might be that maybe you pay less rent when you have to pay rent, or maybe when you go past go, you get a little extra couple credits. When you're carrying the child, those bonuses are way bigger. And it says you get cards specifically for each character that tell you, you know, what your ability is and what it is when you have the child. And in addition to that aspect of carrying the child around the board, anytime somebody passes you, they take the child from you. And so if you pass them, then you take the child from them. So it's like this like hot potato game you're playing while trying to hold the child so you get those bonuses. But all the while, on different spots on the board are these Imperial hideouts. And if you land on one of the, instead of the railroads on the 4 parts of the board, there are these Imperial, I forget what they're called, they're like Imperial Hangouts or Imperial Advancement. And when you land on one of those, you roll the dice to move either a Incinerator Trooper or a Death Trooper. And when those are done, you can start moving Moff Gideon around the board. Now, when you run into these characters in gameplay, you have to stop what you're doing and do a battle using dice against their card. There's little cards on the board that show their stats, and you have to roll a certain amount to get out of the battle, either to win or lose. Now, if you win, you get a certain bonus. If you lose, you get a certain penalty, and you move on. Now, the way the game ends, and I really like this a lot, is if you either defeat Moff Gideon, then everybody just totals up what their values are of all the properties they have, all the credits in their hand, and the person with the highest wins. If you're holding the child, you get a bonus of 100 credits. Or if you're playing and you go against Moff Gideon and you lose, actually I think it's like you lose the baby or you lose the child. Like if you are holding the child and something happens, say you go directly to jail and you leave the child there, and one of the Imperial pieces gets moved and it happens to land on the child unattended, game over. Everybody loses. Nobody wins at all because everybody lost the child. So there's this overarching game of protecting the child and keeping the child for the bonuses while trying to avoid any Imperial entanglements. And also there's a neat different battle structure. And of course there's like credits. It's such an interesting and cool game. So instead of chance and park place, you have these signet cards. And these signet cards are actually things that help you during battle, like armor upgrade, that lets you do a reroll, or whistling birds, things that when you battle an enemy, you can add more points to your roll. So say you need to get a 4 or above to win. If you have whistling birds card, you play that, and it makes it easier because you get plus 2 points. There's another one that says locate the asset. You can place the child on your space, and then you start moving with the green die. And so it's just a really neat and different kind of version of Monopoly. Again, the properties are still there. You still collect rent, but it's not like it was before. When you played Monopoly before, if you own one property, the rent is worth so much. If you own a second property, the rent goes up. If you own a third, a fourth, it goes up in increments. This is just, you either own the one or you own the whole color set, and that's it. Another thing I noticed on the game board is there are actually fewer pieces, like fewer spaces on the game board than there are on a traditional Monopoly map, which makes the movement happen a little bit quicker, and it makes the game move faster. But I like the fact that the game can just be over if you lose to Moff Gideon, or the game could just be over if you lose the child altogether, or if you defeat Moff Gideon. There's so many like different ways to end the game quick, because for me, that's one of the biggest problems with Monopoly, is that the games take a little too long because of house rules. Like, I'm the kind of Monopoly player that, like, I try to play by the book. I don't try to add in extra stuff like free parking and, oh, well, you can't buy anything till you've gone around the board. Those are not real Monopoly rules. Those are house rules that people made up and just become family tradition. If you look at the actual rules of Monopoly, which is why people probably hate playing with me, I'm a stickler on those rules. And like if you don't buy a property, it goes up for auction immediately, and anybody can start bidding on it. Which is like the first time I tried to do that with like family that I hadn't played with. They were like, "Wait, what are you doing? You don't do that." It's like, yeah, look at the rules. So the rules on here are very particular, and it actually makes for potentially a faster game, but also like a fun game with a lot of different, like just a different style of Monopoly. And the second I opened it, I had to share this with you. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. I think this is a pretty sweet version of Monopoly. Big, huge thank you to Hasbro for sending this to me. A couple weeks ago, they sent me a big mystery box full of stuff, and this was part of it. And I was like, I don't know how to make a video on that. But just talking about it, describing it to you, letting you know, pick this version of Monopoly up, because it is not your average Monopoly. It is actually really, really cool. So guys, let me know what you think. Is this something you're going to pick up? Do you have it already? There's another version coming out that comes with an action figure. It's a retro collection Stormtrooper. It's actually a remnant Stormtrooper, so it's got like a little bit of battle damage on it. But it's an exclusive figure. I think it's exclusive. Maybe they sell it separately. But they're going to be selling a version of this packaged with that Stormtrooper soon. I think next month. But the one they sent me does not have it. Either way, I'm not mad. This is a really cool Monopoly set, and I'm glad to have that in my collection. So again, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know. I'm going to put a link, an affiliate link to purchase this down below. If you use any of those links, those or my Amazon links, actually do both.
Click
Amazon and
these links, you will.
If you use either of those links, then it goes to support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I get a little bit of a referral bonus based on what you spend there. And yeah, it's just a good way to support the channel. If you're going to be doing any holiday shopping, I definitely recommend this as a gift for probably just your whole family. It's just a fun, neat, kind of cool thing to do. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Shouts to the patrons and the channel members. You guys are awesome. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing live Thursday nights, live viewing parties for the Mando for the next couple episodes. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got that bell notification turned on. And until next time, don't be a moof milker. Be the spark.